Internet is the best. It has given me this whole new life I have never even imagined for myself. Hey, my career is built on it lah. I can talk to you, sign petitions, join movements, all thanks to the internet. Laws have been amended from online petitions. Mind-blowing way. And think about it, it is such a privilege to be alive right now. To be able to use technology to change and save lives. You know, I think a lot about that these days as the interest in online activism grows. But what about before this? How did people do it? Particularly women who stood up and fought for equal rights in a world that sometimes doesn't see them as equals. How? Jom, I share some stories from the past that have inspired millions, including me. Irene Fernandez spent most of her life fighting for some of Malaysia's most vulnerable groups: migrant workers, refugees, women and children. In 1995, Irene published a report on the abuse of migrant workers in Malaysia. The report detailed malnutrition, terrible living conditions and physical and sexual abuse of migrant workers. It opened up a can of worms that led to the longest trial in Malaysian history. Irene was arrested and charged with publishing false news. But she didn't give up. She appealed and finally, after a 13-year legal battle, Irene was acquitted in 2008. Thank you, Irene, for never giving up. Your work and courage have given birth to so many mini Irenes, #migrant juga manusia, who are fighting tirelessly for the migrant community in Malaysia. Marina Mahadi. Her work of destigmatizing HIV and AIDS has made such a huge impact in Malaysia. Her outspokenness and interest in advocating for AIDS and HIV-positive patients led to her becoming the president of Malaysian AIDS Council MAC. She did not only challenge the prejudices among the public, but also in the government and NGOs too. Over the years, she broke many barriers, developed a HIV manual training for religious leaders, and advocated for safe sex. Thank you, Marina, for inspiring us to speak about things that are considered taboos. In 2016, the world got to know Nisha Ayub as the first transgender woman in the world to win the prestigious US Secretary of State's Women of Courage Award. When she was just 21, Nisha was arrested under Sharia law for cross-dressing and barbarically abused in prison for 3 months. Her hair was shaved off, she was forced to open up her shirt and show her breasts to other inmates, and she was physically and sexually abused. Nisha was finally released from prison after 3 months, and instead of letting the harrowing experience destroy her life, she was like, I'm going to use this as a fuel to fight for equal rights. Nisha then co-founded SEED and Justice for Sisters to provide protection and assistance to the trans community and raise public awareness on violence and the unjust persecution of the trans community. Nisha not only stood up for herself, but also for those who are shunned and ill-treated. Thank you, Nisha, for showing us that you can turn the worst experiences in life into something beautiful, kind, and inspiring. Last but not least, of course, we have to mention the organizations that are synonymous with women's rights and advocacy in Malaysia. The National Council of Women's Organizations, NCWO, and Women's Aid Organization, WAO. NCWO and WAO have been fighting for policy changes and constitutional reforms to better protect women in Malaysia for almost 60 years. Their constant dedication to bettering the lives of women in Malaysia bore many fruitful changes over the years, including the opening of a shelter for domestic violence survivors, which was initiated by WAO's pioneer president, Puan Sri Chong Yu Ngoh. Oh, a little fun fact. NCWO's second president, Tun Dr. Fatimah Hashim, went on to become the first female cabinet minister in Malaysia. First of many! Thank you, NCWO, WAO, and of course, the Joint Action Group for Gender Equality for creating a safe space and being the sisterhood Malaysian women can turn to in times of need. To think how different our lives would be if it weren't for these forward-thinking, courageous women who fought for equal rights. Especially at a time when it was so complex, dangerous even. They didn't falter in the face of adversity. They stood their ground and here we are. Thank you for dedicating your lives to laying the groundwork that allows the rest of us to continue fighting for our place in the society. We would also like to say a big thanks to veteran human rights activist Ivy Josiah for initiating this campaign on women's rights with us. You are one of the countless women who continue to inspire us every single day. Thank you for being you. And you guys out there, thank you so much for watching and supporting this mini series on violence against women in Malaysia. It means the world to us. And of course, another big thank you to European Union in Malaysia for supporting this project.